Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for joining my channel, Baking with Ayalah. Today we'll be making a vegan panna cotta with coconut milk, a strawberry puree on top, and a special topping to go finish it off. Ooh. So this is a very simple recipe that we'll be doing today. It's perfect for summertime. It's 90 degrees over here, and so I know I'm ready for it. So let's get started. So today we're gonna go ahead and get our pot. And we're gonna go ahead and put a whole can of coconut milk inside. Now the coconut milk we're using is full fat. We love full fat everything. You don't wanna get anything that has not a lot or light fat, low fat, because it will not set the same way. We're gonna go ahead and add our sugar. And then we're gonna go ahead and add our vanilla extract and coconut extract. Now, I didn't have coconut extract, so I'm using coconut rum. Delicious. All right, so now let's go ahead and put this on the stove to get started. All right, so now that we have our mixture on the stove, we're just gonna whisk this together a little bit because we need to make sure our sugar and extracts are nice and together, dissolve. We have this all mixed up. We're just gonna leave this on the heat. We want this to come to a boil. And then after it comes to the boil, we're going to go ahead and add the agar. Now, agar is a compound, or the powder that we're using is made from, typically it's made from seaweed. Okay. All right, so now that we've pulled our mix off of the heat, we're going to go ahead and put in our glasses. I have these martini glasses that I'm going to put these in because that way, once everything sets and we can see the layers really good in this. Or you could do wine glass, or you could just do any type of container really. All right, so we got the first one. All right, so now that we have these in our martini glasses, we're gonna put these in the fridge and then we're gonna get started on our strawberry puree. So let's go. So now we're gonna go ahead and get started on our puree. We have our panna cotta inside the fridge. Those need to set for about an hour and then we'll put this on top and put it back in the fridge. So what I have right now is about a cup of frozen strawberries. You can use fresh or frozen. We just happen to have frozen strawberries. I have half a cup of sugar and then a lemon that I'm going to zest right on top. So I'm gonna go ahead and zest this lemon over the strawberries. And you want to make sure you don't get to too much of the white part inside when you're zesting, because that's the really bitter part and you don't want that. I like a lot of lemon in mine, and so in addition to the zest, I'm also going to squeeze the lemon inside of it as well, so we can get some of that nice fresh lemon juice. A little bit of citrus goes a long way, so we're going to just squeeze some of that on top of here. Be careful not to get too much seed in there because I am not going to strain my puree. I like it a little bit with the texture from the strawberry seeds, but if you prefer yours strained, you can certainly do that. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and add this inside of our blender. I'm gonna add that, and then I have about half a cup of sugar. It doesn't have to be half a cup. You can use as much or a little as you like. I love sweet things, so I'm going to add more sugar. Now we're just going to put the top on this and blend away. So now that our puree is finished, that's all we're gonna do. We're just gonna go ahead and put this in a different container that we have and then set this in the cooler while our panna cotta sets. And then now we're gonna go ahead and move on to our garnish. Ooh, we're gonna make something special. Today we're gonna make a little bit of fruit caviar. I know, what is that? Fruit caviar? I can make this at home? Yes, you can. All you need is the same agar that we were using earlier. there you go. A little bit of fruit juice or fruit puree. I happen to have a little bit of passion fruit puree in my fridge, so that's what I'm going to use. And then some really cold oil. I use canola oil. You can use canola oil or vegetable oil. And then I just stuck it in the freezer for a little bit so it can get nice and cold, because we're going to need that to make our little spheres, our balls, our caviar. So now let's head over to the stove and get started. So we're gonna add our fruit puree into our skillet. Now I'm not using a whole bunch because we don't need 10 pounds of fruit caviar. Oops. And so now we're gonna heat this up a little bit. We want it to get hot enough so that when we add the agar, it will dissolve and not have these chunks. And so we're gonna wait for that to come to a slight boil. All right, so now we just came from the stove and we have our fruit puree with the agar. I put it in this container here because I had some of these around the house. Typically they'll do it, professionals will do it with like a little syringe that you can get from like CVS or somewhere. If you don't have that, sometimes I will wait for this to cool just a little bit, but you can get like a little plastic bag and then cut a very small hole for what we're about to do, because you don't want it to just all come gushing out and then you won't have fruit caviar. So now let's use this and get started. So now we're just squeezing this lightly and the juice is coming out. As you see, it's slowly falling down into the cold oil. And then that's kind of creating a shell around the juice, which in turn makes it the fruit caviar. How hard you squeeze determines how big or small your fruit caviar will be. And so we're just going to squeeze all of this out until we get a nice little pile at the bottom. All right, so y'all can see how my fruit caviar kind of came out. They're not all perfect. Some are a little bit bigger than others. It looks like kind of like squares. And again, I didn't have a syringe to kind of control how much comes out, a little bit more. But that's okay. No one's perfect, and neither are these, and they're still gonna taste delicious. All right, now for our final step, we're gonna put everything together. We have our coconut panna cotta, which sat in the fridge and set. We have our strawberry puree. Now, I will admit, my puree is a little sweet, so if you want, you might want to start at 1/4 of a cup and then work your way up depending on your level of sweet tolerance. Mine is high, so I started off high. We have our fruit caviar, and then we brought out our toasted coconut that we made in our last video so that we can have a little crunch factor. So now let's go ahead and put this together. I'm going to use the strawberry puree and put this on top. Now, depending on you, you can put as much or as little as you like. Just put just enough to kind of coat the top, and then go from there. Make sure it's all the way around. I'm going to put a little bit of this toasted coconut around the side. You can do it however you want. If you want to just splatter it right on top, go right ahead. I'm going to kind of go in a half moon circle here. Right. And we're gonna put the caviar kind of like right on top, just so that it doesn't sink. And then we put that right on top. Cute little caviar. I'm putting it all in there just because I like passion fruit. I'm just gonna add a little bit more coconut to kind of fill in a little bit. Just because. Put a little lemon zest on there for extra citrus kick. Whoop. Got a little extra there. And that's pretty much it. If you want, I have still some frozen strawberries that I could put on there that I thawed out a little bit just for a little strawberry action. Oh! Just throw it kind of in there. Just because a little bit more strawberry won't hurt. And that's all I will do before I get a little too extra. So here we go. You can kind of see the layers. I don't want to tilt it too much. But you can kind of see the layer there. And that's it. Well, thank y'all for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video and hit the little bell for notifications. Now it's time to dig in. Thank you. Bye.